Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Yeah, sometimes you get a lot of, "Oh, but they're just kids. Don't get mad when they shriek like a banshee for fun," etc. I'm sure the first story will tickle the nerves of some of you. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. What do you mean this is your party? When I was living overseas, Singapore, with my family, the apartment complex had a room that you could rent for parties. It had a very good view of the pool, so I decided that I would have a pool party and we would rent the room out as well, so my friends and I would have a cool place to sit and eat. It's really hot in Singapore. So on the day of my party, it's me, my 10 friends, family friends, and my brother, and also the kids of a work friend of Dad's whose girls I went to school with. Anyway, an hour in and my friends are in the pool chilling when I noticed Entitledparent and her kid jump into the pool and the shallow end. I didn't think anything of it because it's an Olympic-sized pool and we didn't reserve the pool. My mom called us in and crap hit the fan. My friends and I dry off and walk in. I felt a sharp pain in my shoulder as Entitledparent pushes past me with her kid into the pool house and proceeded to take 2 of every snack Mom and Dad set up. Dad didn't see this, but a workmate of his did and couldn't believe his eyes. Mind you, I've never seen these people before in my life, and I don't like gremlins. Mom asked if she was a parent of one of my friends because I've not met all of them because they have full-time jobs and we'd only been in Singapore for 6 months, so we haven't had the chance to get people over. It turns out that her kid was hungry and saw the chips, soft drinks, and all the hot food from the pool and demanded that he wants some. EP demands my mom give her child food because we have plenty to share. My poor parents don't deserve this crap. Mom has been putting up with me worrying about my party, and Dad had flown from the US back to Singapore the day before, and now he has to deal with this woman, 10 teen girls, and trying to find ice for my shoulder? EP reported us to the apartment guards, who, by the way, speak little to no English and work really crappy hours to guard rich tossers like her, complaining we weren't being very good neighbors and we should be giving food to her because A, her boy is hungry, woman, your apartment's behind us, B, this area is open to everyone, C, there was too much food for the 25 guests. The guard explained to the mother that we had booked the room for 3 hours for a private event and we had paid the deposit and let them know how many guests there were, for safety reasons. Upon hearing this, she tossed the food on the ground and left with her child, who was now crying because a mate of mine told him he couldn't have any of my red velvet birthday cake. I kid you not, I saw the woman at the bus stop outside the apartment complex the following Monday, and she just glared at me for the entire time. Apparently, I ride the same bus with her son, who at the time I didn't realize was one of the annoying screaming kids. And our second story. Give my son free insurance or I'll have you fired. I remember this like it was yesterday, nearly word-for-word exchange with no embellishment. Happened about a year ago. I'm a life insurance agent, me. My customer is entitled Mom, EM. Her 5-year-old son is entitled Kid, EK. I went on a sales call to EM's house because she called me looking to buy a life insurance policy for herself. I'm going over various policy options with her. She makes a decision on a policy, and I get into my bag to grab the contract and pen. At this point, EK must have seen my work computer in the bag because he comes over and grabs my laptop, proceeds to open it, and violently smash the keyboard. Although this kid was only about 5, he was huge for his age and surprisingly strong. A real-life version of Bam Bam from the Flintstones. I'm speechless as he goes all Mike Tyson on my laptop, a key flies off the keyboard from his banging, and the mom says nothing to correct him, acting like nothing out of the norm is happening. Finally, I take my computer from him, pick up the loose key from the floor, and patiently say to EK, "Hey buddy, I'm sorry, but I need my computer for work." Of course, he starts to whine and cry. EM gives me the stank eye as she says to me, "What are you doing? I'm filling out a paper application. You're not using the computer right now. Let him play with it." Me, "Well, ma'am, he's being a little rough with the computer. A key just flew off the keyboard." EM, "Well, I'm buying a policy from you right now. I'm sure you're making money off this sale. Use your big commission to buy a new computer if he breaks it. This policy was only about $20 a month. I was making peanuts in commission from the sale. Me. I'm sorry, ma'am. I just can't let him play with my work computer. It belongs to the company. EM. Fine. Put it back in your bag, but since you treat your customers this way, if you want to keep this sale, you need to give my son a policy, and I don't want to pay for it. I'd mentioned to her earlier a policy for kids that earns interest and functions as a type of savings plan. Me, growing visibly annoyed, I can't give out free life insurance policies to anyone. EM. I'm not saying a free policy, I'm saying you pay the monthly bill for my son's policy. If you want my sale, you'll do that. And if you don't, I'm calling your corporate offices to have you fired. Me. Ma'am, it's against the law for me to pay for his policy, and even if it weren't, there's no way I'd do that. EM, tearing up the application papers, then I guess we're done here. Don't ever come back. And by the way, I have family I was planning to refer you to. You just lost a ton of money. Me, as I'm heading out the door, actually, ma'am, I'm saving myself a ton of headache because I won't have to deal with you as a client. I'm actually glad this happened, but you have a great day. EM stares slack-jawed and silent as I leave because she couldn't believe I just passive-aggressively, and in a somewhat professional way, told her to go F herself. I left and called my manager to tell him what happened. He said I was too nice to her, and she never called anyone to try to get me fired. And our last story. Get the F off my lawn. Hi, everyone. A little bit of background. I work as the master electrician at a medium-sized concert venue. The venue is owned by a larger resort company which has hotels and dining on the same property. During the summers, we put on all sorts of events and concerts for the public and our guests. Outside of the venue is a large grassy area where people often play games or picnic. As a courtesy to our guests, we often put up large video screens and speakers on the lawn so that those who don't want to pay for the show can sit outside and watch the show while they play or picnic. As the outside lawn viewing area is almost always free, people have become accustomed to going out hours, if not days before, and setting up chairs and blankets to save a spot. Now on to the story. One day before our biggest show of the season, tickets were sold out. Because of this, the artist manager requested we fence off the lawn area and make it paid, which was no problem. The tour manager also requested we not allow anyone access to the lawn before doors opened, which wasn't typical, but we understand and was easy enough. The morning of the event, the entire lawn got fenced off and signs reading, "Lawn access prohibited" before doors were put up. Security wasn't scheduled to start until mid-afternoon, so me and the rest of the staff were asked to periodically check outside and make sure people were following the rules. Around noon, me and the others finished setting up lighting and special effects on stage. I'd heard from my coworkers that they'd already had to kick many people off the lawn who were trying to set up chairs. Being that my job was done for the moment, I figured I would check outside. When I got outside, I looked around the large area and saw what would soon become clear, a very entitled Karen. I stood in astonishment as this moderately overweight woman was in the middle of struggling to throw her lawn chairs and blanket over our fence. As soon as the shock and mild amusement left my face, I began walking the 100 or so yards to talk to her. As I got closer, Karen had finished throwing her stuff over the fence and had walked to a small break in the fence where she was squeezing through. When I finally approached her, she was in the middle of picking up her stuff. Here's how the conversation went. Me. Hi, ma'am. How are you today? Karen. Fine. Me. Well, that's good. Hey, look, I'm sorry to inform you, but the lawn area is actually closed for a paid event tonight. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. Karen. What? What do you mean closed? I'm just trying to set up chairs and save a spot for my kids tonight. Me. I understand that, ma'am, but we've been specifically asked by the artist to not let people do this for this event. Karen. It's not like it's a big deal. You guys always let people set up beforehand. This is bullcrap. Me. I understand that you're frustrated, ma'am, but these are the rules for tonight, and it's the reason for the fencing and signs. I'm sorry, but you need to leave. Karen. You can't do this. This is public property, and you can't make me leave. I'm putting my stuff down now. Me. Ma'am, first, this is not public property. It's owned by the resort. Second, you are not putting your stuff down. You need to leave now or I will call resort security. Karen. No, I want to speak to your manager. Take me to him now. Me. I can't let you in the venue, ma'am. The resort's very strict about security on show days inside the venue. The best I can do for you is to go talk to him and come back. Karen. That'll have to do, said while arms crossed and pouting. I walk back across the grass and back into the venue. After several minutes, I find my boss in his office. My boss was in the middle of an important email but tells me to come in. Hey, OP, what's up? I explain the entire situation to my boss. What follows next has got to be one of my favorite moments from this job. Without looking up from what he's typing, he says in a stern voice, "Tell that bee to get the F off my lawn." And so I did. I walked all the way back out to where she was and told her she has to leave and that if she didn't, she and her kids would not be able to come tonight and security would be called. I think this mild threat finally got through to her because she turned around and started walking back to the crack in the fence she came in, all while cursing me out loudly, saying I would be fired. Finally, it was over and I could get back to the job I actually enjoy. As I walk back inside, I turn to look. I get to see her struggle to throw her chairs back over the fence one last time. It put a smile on my face the rest of the day, and I never saw her again. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.